Please be seated. Good afternoon, President DeGioia, Mr. Broussard, Vice Provost Bass, Secretary Quinn, Register Pierce, distinguished guests, members of the faculty, members of the graduating class, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 2016 commencement exercises of Georgetown University, marking the 382nd year of the Jesuit presence in North America and the 472nd year of service to the world. I am David Thomas, and I have the privilege and the pleasure to be the Dean of the McDonough School of Business. Today, we assemble to honor candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Business Administration. We will begin our ceremony with an invocation delivered by the Reverend Bryant Osvig, Protestant Chaplaincy Director. Please stand for the singing of the national anthem, which will be led by Commonwealth Brass and members of the Georgetown University Concert Choir and Chamber Singers. Please remain standing for the invocation.
Please join with me in a spirit of prayer. Ground of our being, we are gathered in this place to recognize and celebrate a commitment to the formation of ourselves. We have grown through the experiences in the classroom, by the mentorships we have fostered and found, and in the companionships and friendships we have with others. For this, may we ever be grateful. And in that gratitude then for the privilege of striving in this place, may we always hold on to that impulse to learn more. May we continue to hunger for greater understanding, and may we not stop growing as people. May the commendations presented, words spoken, and degrees conferred here be ever for us an opening to a future filled with hope, a hope for peace, peace for ourselves, peace for our loved ones, and most especially peace for this world. Amen.
Please be seated. Dr. Randall Bass, Vice Provost for Education and Professor in the Department of English, will deliver the official welcome.
Thank you, Dean Thomas. I was at the senior ball last night doing research. And in case any of you saw me dancing, I'm sorry. I recognize that there are some things in life that cannot be unseen. It is my pleasure to welcome our guests to this commencement ceremony of the McDonough School of Business, and I do so in behalf of our provost, Dr. Robert Groves, whose son is graduating elsewhere this weekend. And I do so in behalf of the entire academic community of Georgetown, faculty, administrators, and staff, and in behalf of these students seated before me, who will momentarily become our newest graduates. As Vice Provost for Education, I've been privileged to help lead our efforts to continually strengthen what we try to do here. We're trying to imagine a future for Georgetown built upon and equal to its past. A future that can meet the challenge of delivering not just the best possible education, but a distinctively Georgetown education, both undergraduate and graduate, in a very complicated and swiftly changing world. But standing here on a day like today and looking out at all of you, it's actually quite a poignant reminder that in fact we are shaping and creating the future every day, every year in our interactions with you, a future embodied in you. Maybe not 100% the bodies right now, but. And the people who are so deeply involved in shaping that future are the extraordinary faculty colleagues seated behind me, who take so seriously both the educational and the research missions of the university, not only to inform our students intellectually, but also to inform them as people as character and ethical judgment and committed practitioners and professionals, to whom we can safely entrust not only Georgetown's future, but indeed the future of the world. To you, our guests, and especially the families and support networks of our students, we acknowledge with deep thanks for the role that you have played in helping these students get to the finish line. For all of you, it's been a marathon. For some of you, it's been a marathon and a sprint. But no one's successes or accomplishments are theirs alone. So thank you. As Jeb Bush would say, please clap. Too soon? We also acknowledge with thanks the magnitude of the responsibility with which you have entrusted us. We have worked hard to be worthy of that trust, so that we can say today with considerable pride that we watch along with you as your sons and daughters move on to the next phase of their lives, their early promise fulfilled and the promise of a life of purpose ready to unfold. So we are happy to celebrate with you this glorious, sunny, beautiful day filled with nostalgia for what is about to end and with excitement for what is about to commence. So to our guests, welcome, and to our graduates, welcome home.
Thank you, Dr. Bass. Our founder, the Most Reverend John Carroll, first Archbishop of Baltimore and first Catholic bishop in the United States, took legal possession of land on our hilltop in 1789. And we mark that as our founding date. Our first student, the future North Carolina Congressman William Gaston, arrived in 1791. And our first bachelor's degrees were awarded in 1817. It was in 1815, with enrollments passing the 100 mark, the college's president, Father John Grassi of the Society of Jesus, asked that Congressman Gaston present a petition for a federal charter, a document that still today sanctions the academic business we do here. It is our custom to initiate academic ceremonies with a reading of that charter. To discharge that office, I am pleased to introduce Mr. Edward M. Quinn, Secretary of the University.
An act concerning the College of Georgetown in the District of Columbia. Be it enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America in Congress assembled, that it shall and may be lawful for such persons as now are, or from time to time may be, the President and Directors of the College of Georgetown within the District of Columbia, to admit any of the students belonging to said college, or other persons meriting academical honors, to any degree, in the faculties, arts, sciences, and liberal professions to which persons are usually admitted in other colleges and universities of the United States, and to issue in an appropriate form the diplomas or certificates which may be requisite to testify to the admission of such degree. Signed, Langdon Shivas, Speaker of the House of Representatives, John Gaillard, President pro tempore of the Senate. Approved March 1st, 1815, James Madison.
It is now my honor to introduce Professor Bill Novelli, Distinguished Professor of the Practice at the McDonough School of Business, who will read the honorary degree citation.
Georgetown was founded on a Jesuit educational system with the Latin title Ratio Studiorum. So the university quickly recognized today's honoree as one of its own when it learned he tweets quotes from the ancient Greek physician Herophilus. He does and he thinks as we do, working to bond the best of a venerable tradition with a sage and nimble response to the emerging issues of the present. Herophilus also was the first physician to insist that sure knowledge can only be based on empirical investigation, foreshadowing how excellence in scholarship can positively impact practice, which is a hallmark of Georgetown and the McDonough School of Business. Bruce Broussard is president and CEO of Humana, one of the nation's largest health insurance and managed care companies. During his tenure, he has led both his company and the nation toward a model for integrated care delivery, one that puts and keeps the individual patient and not simply the disease at the center. He has spoken of what he calls the moment of influence, which he defines as the point at which doctors have the best chance of nudging patients to change their behavior. But he also is a theoretician and guarantor of a key moment of influence in his industry. He has managed this by insisting that health isn't only about what was genetically given to you, it's also about your environment and what you do on a day-to-day basis. He does not underestimate the obstacles that stand in the way of the transformation he seeks. He believes firmly that he and his associates are going to make a great healthcare system in the long run. But he also notes that first, we just have a lot of pains to go through. Broussard brings to Humana an extraordinary range of previous experience in healthcare. He has served as chair and CEO of US Oncology, as CEO of Harvard Dental, and as CFO of Regency Health Services and of the Sun Healthcare Group. Additionally, he has played a leadership role in key business advocacy organizations such as the Business Roundtable, the American Heart Association CEO Roundtable, and the Aspen Group. He is an executive committee member of the Board of Directors of America's Health Insurance Plans. In October 2010, he was named an outstanding alumnus by Texas A&M's Mays School of Business. He has said his success and Humana's rely on the fact that we're always looking at what's coming in the side mirror. In that mirror, he has spotted three crucial challenges and opportunities: the emergence of big data, the yet untapped potential of telemedicine, and most surprising for this agent of change, the limits of the new emphasis on the value of disruption. In responding to all three, he has insisted that the more we understand new resources, the more we can personalize care. It is that centering emphasis on the uniqueness of each individual that connects Broussard's leadership to this Jesuit institution, with its equally characteristic emphasis on cura personalis, caring for each individual as an individual. That tweeted quote from Herophilus, perhaps better than anything else, suggests why Georgetown today is so delighted to honor Bruce Broussard. The ancient physician presciently warned, when health is absent, wisdom cannot reveal itself. Art cannot become manifest. Strength cannot be exerted. Wealth is useless, and reason is powerless. Because in the cause of a nation's health, he has shown himself wise and artful, strong and reasonable, and above all, wealthy in the supreme gift of compassion. Georgetown University today, with esteem and affection, proclaims Bruce Broussard, Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. Bruce.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Congress of the United States and by the Board of Directors of Georgetown University, I officially confer upon Bruce Broussard the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. And it's now my pleasure to present to you Bruce Broussard, who will deliver the commencement address.
Well, what an honor. Let me get organized here. Well, thank you, President Georgia, so much for this tremendous honor to speak today. You know, during the last few years, Georgetown has become such an important part of my life. My son, Clay, is entering his junior year this year, and my daughter, Carly, is going to be a senior in high school and high hopes of attending Georgetown next year. So it doesn't come as a surprise that my wife Janine came up to me just recently and said, "Don't mess our children's life up with your speech." But seriously, many congratulations are in order today to the families, the school, and obviously the graduates for such hard work and commitment to this day. But today is also a day of reflection and celebration. It's a day that I will share with you some of my reflection as I've gone through my life in hopes that the insights that I've learned will provide some insights for you on your journey. My first reflection is about adversity and discovering the balance in life. You know, a number of years ago, my early childhood, so many years ago, I was defined by a few events that have really led up to who I am today. I grew up in a modest income family in upstate New York. I went to school where I walked to school. I walked to church and was an altar boy. I played ice hockey in the winter, and in the summer I played baseball. I lived in this environment that was so nurturing. But when I entered high school, things changed. They changed because we moved to Houston, Texas, as my dad was transferred. And things became different. It was a new school. It was a different environment, different culture, had to make new friends. And also, my mom became an alcoholic. And at that time, she also overcame that sickness over time. But that time created instability in my life. This instability created this passion to work. And this work of goal setting and the ability to achieve was what was driving me most of the time. And it was this stability that I was looking for and this hard work that I craved. But during this period of time, I was also gaining success. Life was good. I had a lot underneath my belt at that time. Then something unexpected happened as I realized that my priorities were becoming out of whack. My mom was killed in a car wreck. 4 children, adults, came over as a result of being in the influence of drugs and hit her head on. What was ironic is that she just dropped me off at the airport after a long extended weekend, Thanksgiving weekend. Obviously, I was shocked, thankful that I spent the last moments of her life with her, but I also realized I regretted. I regretted the time that I was not able to spend time with family members. I also regretted the fact that I defined life success as career success. This time also reminded me that how fragile life was. And this fragility reminded me that we must make the most out of our life. And the most is not just enjoyment, but to make an impact. As I woke up from this, I realized that my priorities were out of balance. For me, it required a commitment to balance my life. And so today, that I meticulously balance my life. Sunday afternoons, I plan my week. Early in the morning, usually before 5 o'clock, I exercise and read. I also find time because of my travel schedule, to be creative, to find time with my family. And for me, family time is a meal time. I am also referred to as the cookie monster in my house, and so I love sweets. But I also love that valuable time with my family to spend and talk about nothing in particular. So balancing priorities for me has been a lot like caring for tomato plants. I know that sounds odd, but let me just walk through why. First, you have to pick your plants. But then secondarily, you have to water them to grow them. And similar to life and time, water is limited. So you must make some decisions. Do I water one plant to grow strong, or do I water multiple plants that are healthy? For me, in life, I've picked my tomato plants. They are family, they're friends, they're religion, they're work, and they're my health. And I've constantly planned my time around balancing the delicate aspect of watering these plants. The second reflection I have is about perseverance and courage. Starting a career is hard work. There is no magic formula. In my desk, I keep a note card. It has 4 P's on it, simple words: passion, persistency, patience, and Pepto-Bismol. I read this whenever I find a time that I'm challenged, and it reminds me that tough times are part of the journey. In my early 30s, I was a chief financial officer for a large publicly traded healthcare company. At the time, I also was a new dad. Clay was only 2 weeks old. Raising a family brought a new responsibility on me, and my boss, the CEO, was quite a difficult individual. To make a long story short, we were having some financial problems. And in that time, we had to make some financial disclosures that the CEO chose not to disclose. After many unsuccessful attempts to get aligned about the disclosure, we decided to go to the board. The board ultimately agreed with me. In fact, the next day made the disclosure. But I knew that I didn't win. And I didn't win because I jeopardized our relationship. And knowing that relationship was beyond repair, I chose to resign. Now, at this time, it was personally inconvenient, to say the least. I didn't have a job, I had a 2-week-old child, and my wife wasn't working. But I realized that by making that decision and speaking up, it was worth it. It was worth that particular time of being unemployed and the stress that came with that. So my second reflection for you is, in life you will be tested. Never compromise your non-negotiables. Have courage, ask questions, stand up for what you believe in, even when it is more difficult and it's the longer and harder path. But I promise you there will be more doors that open than close. My last reflection is about serving others. I've found you can learn as much from bad role models as you can from good. The experience I just shared with you highlighted a time and a leader that I did not want to be. But over the years, I've had some great role models. And these role models I've admired in 2 ways. One is their humility, and second, their willingness to serve. What I found to be true is when you start from a place of serving others first, you'll be far more successful. As CEO of Humana, I've strived to create an environment where every voice matters. The organizational chart that you reside in does not define your worth. Where you fit in the company does not define the worth of your ideas. I believe you can learn something from everyone, so much so that I feel that my performance and knowing the underneath aspects of our company is a result of this ability to have this trusted environment. You know, on a recent visit to a customer's home with a nurse, she was a senior citizen, and I asked the question to her. I said, "What else can we do for you?" And this individual, not having family living with her, about 80 years old, answered the question, "I'm lonely." For me, loneliness resulted in the identification of a health problem. And asking that simple question that I would not have been able to understand in the boardroom, in management reports, or in meetings, it allowed me to identify that a health problem is a loneliness problem. So it is amazing what you'll learn when you set up an environment of trust, having a mindset of serving others. I can attribute much of my success to this philosophy of serving others. So believe me, I'm far from perfect. Just ask my wife and kids. The one thing I've learned in our household is that you have to be humble. So recently, my daughter came to me and said, "Dad, why are you giving the commencement speech? You're not very interesting." And that reminded me that it's not about me, it's about serving others. Back in 1985, I had a long commute, about 45 minutes in Houston, Texas. And during that commute, I decided to start to listen to books on tape. I was an avid learner. In fact, if you would open my 4-door Corolla and look in the trunk, he would see stacks and stacks of tapes. Now keep in mind, this was in 1985 for most of the graduates in here, and we didn't have TED Talks, podcasts, or other things like YouTube to be able to shrink the media here. But one morning I was listening to a tape, and it had a profound impact on me. And it was by the late Zig Ziglar, a motivational speaker and an author. And he said, "You will get all you want in life if you help enough others get what you want." The quote stands with me today. It drives me and it challenges me in everything I do. So in closing, today, as you celebrate your success, I hope my reflections on my life will provide some insights into your journey. And remember, your journey is your journey. Don't waste time comparing it to others. Things won't go as planned. And remember the 4 Ps: patience, persistence, passion, and Pepto-Bismol. Remember to pick your tomato plants and take great care of in watering them. Never compromise your non-negotiables, even when it is personally inconvenient and requires the difficult task. Be humble, be gracious, serve others. You will get all you want in life if you help enough others get what they want. So congratulations and enjoy the celebrative day. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce, for those words. You and your career represent a model of the kind of leaders that we are attempting to develop here at the McDonough School of Business and at Georgetown University. Principal leaders with a global mindset in service to business and society. Before we begin the presentation of the candidates for degree, I would like to recognize the contributions made by the faculty and staff who are my diligent partners here at the McDonough School of Business. As students, each one of you has studied with, been challenged by, and sought counsel from many of our faculty members and staff. I therefore ask you as graduates to join me in expressing appreciation to your teachers and administrators. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great privilege to introduce my distinguished colleagues, the faculty and staff of the McDonough School of Business. We'll now proceed to the moment that we've all been waiting for, the presentation of candidates for the degree. The graduates will come forward to receive their diploma. Please hold your applause, that's a challenge, until all graduates have received their diplomas. The top 10% of this class has been inducted into Beta Gamma Sigma, the National Scholastic Honor Society, in the field of business administration. 70 students have attained a cumulative GPA of at least 3.5 during their 4 years of undergraduate study and will graduate cum laude. 48 students with a GPA of at least 3.7 will graduate magna cum laude. And 16 students have attained a GPA of at least 3.9 during their 4 years of undergraduate study and will receive their degrees summa cum laude. I am humbly reminded that 38 years ago, I graduated, thank the laude. So take heart. It is now my honor to introduce Senior Associate Dean and Director of Undergraduate Programs, Dr. Norianne Sharp, who will announce the graduates. Will Professors Meyer Summer, McCabe, Scuba, and Sigmund come forward to hood the graduates?
As Senior Associate Dean, I am proud to call forth the graduates. John Norris Harrington, summa cum laude and valedictorian. Diana Francis Pinello, summa cum laude and salutatorian. John Joseph Abrams. Sechin Abrol, magna cum laude. Natalie Clark Acton. Kellogg Scott Adams. Vebu Agarwal, summa cum laude. Taha Akhtar. Abdullah Khalid Al-Sharawi. Maxwell James Allen. Christopher Carlos Amaya, cum laude. Matthew C. Anderson, cum laude. Guthrie Arguin Yai Angelis. Javier Martin Aguayo. Shelby H. Aubin. Kelvin Gregory Aubrey. Felix Backhouse. Delaney Bader. Connor Cone Bailey. Jean Joseph Ball, cum laude. Peter Joseph Berry II. Peter James Barston, cum laude. Rudolfo Jose Beck. Kelsey Beijing. Matthew J. Bell. Tessa Wendo Bell, summa cum laude. Richard David Bertrand. Justin Christopher Beatrice, cum laude. Al-Kash Arun Bhatia. Maggie Alexander Blackwood. Michaela K. Bledsoe Downs. William Desmond Blummer. Reed McCavity Blinn. Charles Boisvert, cum laude. Cassandra Cody Bowling. Mackenzie Dow Boydston, cum laude. Derek Mitchell Boyce. Nikita Ivana Brennan. Kurt Patrick Brooks. David Christopher Brown. Jacob Remy Brown. Thomas Joseph Brzezowski, cum laude. Sean T. Buckley. Alberto S. Bustamante, cum laude. Sarah Ann Butterfield. Mark Pierre Burns, cum laude. Stephen Joseph Cacase, magna cum laude. Natalie Marie Caceres, cum laude. Brian Timothy Carden, cum laude. Kimberly Teresa Carlson, magna cum laude. Marshall Henri Chabot, cum laude. Thomas Raleigh Chapin. Claudia Chow, cum laude. Daphne Chen, cum laude. Caitlin Marie Cheney, magna cum laude. Daniel Burke Chu. Emily Chu. Michael Woju Cho, cum laude. Eric Choi, cum laude. Sean A. Chokski, magna cum laude. So Hyun Chun. Robert Joseph Gatrino IV, cum laude. David Andrew Clark. Garrett J. Cochran. Michael J. Connaughton. Charles J. Cooper. Timothy J. Corcoran, cum laude. Caleb Kaur. Brian Alexander Council, cum laude. Edward John Crotty, cum laude. Doris Marlene College. Julian Christopher Curry. Brendan Asher Cutler, cum laude. Hollis Ann Dana, cum laude. Timothy Michael Davis. Adriana Maria de Armas. William Newberry Dean, cum laude. Jake Edward DeSico. Julia DeSico, magna cum laude. Mary Caitlin D. John Luke Delgado McCullum. Irma Ina Delchik. Rahul Desai, magna cum laude. Catherine A. Dewing Holmes, magna cum laude. Deep Derry, summa cum laude. Nicholas John Dament, cum laude. Austin Stewart Dixon, magna cum laude. Danielle Oscar Doherty, magna cum laude. Michael Buck Alexander Dodd. Lichi Dong, summa cum laude. Carly O'Neill Douglas. Julia Carol Dunn, cum laude. Peter Aaron Eisenman, cum laude. Maeve Anna Elliott. Austin Robert Evanson. Daniel Anthony Velasca, cum laude. Bridget Carolyn Feeney, cum laude. Abigail Femi Ogunyemi. Stephen Philocoma, magna cum laude. John Albert Fitton, summa cum laude. William Frost Sawyer Fitzgerald. Travaris Jainard Flagg. Joshua Louis Fontenot, magna cum laude. Benjamin Forestier. Nicholas David Gatto. Lauren Rachel Ginsberg. Jamie Glavin, magna cum laude. Jennifer S. Gluckman. Theodore Frederick Gritz, magna cum laude. Rahul Guha. John Alexander Guzetta, cum laude. Brian Hammer, cum laude. William G. Harrington, summa cum laude. Valerie Christine Harrington Martinelli, cum laude. Arthur Eric Hauser. Ryan A. Howdigan. Jerome David Henderson. Olivia Manita Hewitt, cum laude. Madeline Catherine Higgins. Michael Robert Hogler, cum laude. Megan Patricia Holden. Ryan Gregory Holder. Mallory Ann Holtz, cum laude. Xiuan Wang. Hui Wang, summa cum laude. Matthew William Hungate. Aiton Hussein. Kristen Nicole Hugh. Benjamin Yonio Iguchi. Danish Jamal. Daniel Jason, magna cum laude. Kenny C. Jen, cum laude. Jacob Peter Jensen. Chantel Shaney Johnson. Paige Catherine Johnston. Dennis Elp Khan. Kevin Andrew Katz, cum laude. Griffin Ward Keene. Christian Todd Keenum. Hunter Michael Kelly, magna cum laude. Peter William Kelly, cum laude. Omar Corey. Anwar Kvan Busiov. Chae-Young Kim. Christine Hae-Hun Kim, cum laude. Stephen Sung-Hun Kim, cum laude. Matundo Joel Kimpella. Cole Joseph Kirby, cum laude. Natalia Kirkpatrick Mulgo. Cara Madeline Clones, cum laude. Michael Brian Knut, cum laude. Vladislav Kundruchuk. Westford Lewis Lang. Karen P. Larios Lopez. Michael J. Lederhouse, magna cum laude. Charles Jonathan Lee, summa cum laude. Dongwoo Lee, cum laude. Jonathan D. Lee. Kevin Lee, cum laude. Bi-Hwa Lee, cum laude. Zachary James Levine, cum laude. Michael Edward Lewers. Aaron D. Lewis. Cedric Lewis. Hunter W. I. Leiser. Tiffany Wong Lee, magna cum laude. Kevin Brendan Liddy. Christopher Douglas Lim. Erica Tolentino Lim. Frederick Parker Little III. Shuwei Liu, cum laude. Tatiana Lizaralda Puerto. Hui Yu Alice Lowe, magna cum laude. Sarah Renwick Long, magna cum laude. Ashley Deanna Lozier, magna cum laude. Eleanor Fleur Lund Simon, cum laude. Che Jung Joy Ma. Matthew Lawrence Mace, cum laude. Waylon Nijis Mikhail, cum laude. Peter Daniel Mackel. Nicholas James Maffei, magna cum laude. Alexander Magana. Nicholas Mahaney. Nima A. Malik Kozravi, magna cum laude. Christina Leigh Mengels. Allison Jane Manning, magna cum laude. Christina Marin Malero, cum laude. Donald L. Martinez. Riley J. McCabe. Jacqueline N. McCadden, magna cum laude. Scott Jordan McCallum, magna cum laude. Mitchell Edward McCallum, magna cum laude. Megan Elizabeth McDonald. Patrick Michael McDonough. Alejandra Mendoza Canet, cum laude. Lorenzo Alejandro Mendoza Pulido. Thomas George Mergenthaler, cum laude. Isabella Rose Meyer. Candice Lee Milner. Neela Claire Mohan. Ryan Patrick Mooney. Matthew William Morrison, cum laude. Bridget McSherry Morton. Kurt John Mulhauser II. Brenna Eileen Muldrow. Matthew Robert Murphy, magna cum laude. Sarah Cleary Murphy. John Walter Murphy. Brandon Tyler Muto. Matthew John Raphael Narin. Andrew Narang. James Edward Nealon Jr., cum laude. Jordan Isaac Neiman. Emma Grace Newens, cum laude. Jenica L. Newsom, cum laude. Alejandra N. Nieto Meraz. Christopher M. Nightingale. Sophia Teresa Neuston, cum laude. Camila Isabel Obediente Arias, cum laude. Darren McGrath O'Brien. Mackenzie M. O'Connor, cum laude. Elizabeth Ann O'Hanley, cum laude. Sean Patrick O'Neill. Amir Asmani, cum laude. Weston Cummings Overholt III. Jean-Luc Joseph Pancho, cum laude. Nikita Perek, cum laude. Corey Thomas Park. Priyash Patel. Sonia Patel. Charles Cole Peters Patterson, cum laude. Marina Destiny Paul. Charlotte Angela Summers Pennington, cum laude. Kelsey Annalise Persillet. Caleb T. Peterson, summa cum laude. Richard D. Piano, magna cum laude. Haley O'Gara Pierce. Jasmine Nicole Pierce. Catherine Lynn Porton, cum laude. Guglielmo Primoli, magna cum laude. Lucas Daniel Prelo, cum laude. Inez Puig Griffel. Megan Ash Rebholz, cum laude. Catherine Ann Reed, cum laude. William A. Reed. Julianne Christie Riley, magna cum laude. Andres David Rengifo. Ji Un Raslin Rowe. Ryan Malin Rogers, magna cum laude. Elliot Cherno Rosenfield. Murray Ann Ryan. Christopher Allen Dimalanta San Juan. Anastasia Maria Severetti. Gregory Emerson Thomas Seda. Sarah Marie Schock, summa cum laude. Morgan N. Schreck, cum laude. Danielle Lena Schwartz. Joseph Matthew Scudiero, cum laude. Catherine Lee Cedar. Fergal Ethan Seaforth, cum laude. Daniel Francis Shea. Rohan Ravi Shetty, cum laude. Kennedy Catherine Shields, magna cum laude. Ha Yung Shin, cum laude. Samantha Kate Schober, magna cum laude. Donesha Moniz Sibley. Navraj Singh, cum laude. Kamli Jasmine Serju. Cameron Brooke Smith, cum laude. Jonathan Paul Smith. Matthew Joseph Smith. Melvin Snow. John Burgoyne Snyder. Bianca Marie Soler Umpiera. Logan Hippak Spalding. Emily Janice Specie. Catherine Lee Steininger, magna cum laude. John Leonard Stopper. Paige K. Strawn. Andrew James Stuckelin, magna cum laude. Mohit D. Zud. Matthew Robert Sullivan. Daniel M. Swad, magna cum laude. Jayadorn Tapatsipona, cum laude. Alec Jordan Tights. Lucy Silu Tan. Michael Longtree Taylor, cum laude. Alexander David Tendler, cum laude. Christopher Grant Tesorero. Crystal Elaine Thomas, magna cum laude. Kevin Tian, summa cum laude. Raymond Moran Tierney. Erin Elizabeth Timochenko. Candice Ray Ting. Benjamin James Toffee, cum laude. William Flaherty Toner. Laura Kelsey Tonneson, cum laude. David Ethan Turer, summa cum laude. Melissa Taylor Valente. Emily C. Verardo Goodrich. Sean William Viscount. Dominique Vitalis. Gregory Thomas Vlahakis, cum laude. Zachary Michael Volpicelli. Min An Vu. Sandra Wallachek. Colin Todd Walls, magna cum laude. Daniel E. Wang. Megan C. Wang, cum laude. David Dunwhite Wang, cum laude. Eric R. Weber. Jacob Lucian West. Matthew James Wang, cum laude. Parker Habelson Wilf, summa cum laude. Alejandro Willa. Kevin Samuel Wilson, cum laude. Christina M. Wing, magna cum laude. Jeffrey Yan Wong. Devin Wood, magna cum laude. Jasmine Maria Wortmenker, magna cum laude. Catherine Ningchen Yin, cum laude. Jason Ross Yaffe, summa cum laude. Kayla M. Young. Armin Cameron Zarai. Zijun Zhang, cum laude. Michelle Iran Zhou. Zachary Ryan Nicholas Zingsheim, cum laude. Colleen Elizabeth Zork, magna cum laude. Matthew Wiener. David Allen. Kyle Nolan. Congratulations. Zachary Rago. Dean Thomas and President DeGioia, it is my honor to present the aforementioned candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Business Administration.
That was mighty strong applause. I guess that's those parents feeling those extra dollars flow into your pockets. Will the candidates please rise? President DeGioia, as Dean of the McDonough School of Business, these candidates have been duly examined by the faculty and approved by the Board of Directors. I therefore ask that you bestow on them the degrees in course.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Congress of the United States and by the Board of Directors of Georgetown University, I officially confer upon these candidates the degree of Bachelor of Science in Business Administration. Congratulations.
Now, before the candidates are seated, I would like to ask them to turn toward your loved ones, friends, parents in the community and give them a round of applause and thanks. Please be seated. Before I take a few moments to say some parting remarks for the class, I want to start by again thanking Mr. Bruce Broussard for his address that I think captures so much wisdom that I hope that our graduates will carry with them as they move forward in life. And it's an honor to welcome you, Bruce, as an alum of Georgetown University. I'd also like to take a moment before I begin my remarks to recognize the outstanding service that has been provided to you these last 4 years and 7 years for the McDonough School of Business by Senior Associate Dean and Professor Norianne Sharp, who will be leaving us to assume the deanship of the Tobin College of Business at St. John's University in New York this summer. Norianne has made a tremendous contribution to Georgetown University and to the development advancement of the McDonough School of Business undergraduate program. So if you join me in a round of thanks and applause for Norianne. So, class of 2016, I'm delighted that we have reached this moment together. You were the first class admitted after I became dean. So, I will be remembered by how you do in the world. Whether the judgment of the admissions committee was right that year as they thought about what a new dean could do with extremely talented students. You were admitted. And during these years on the hilltop, something special has happened. If we wanted to simply congratulate ourselves, beat our chests, we could define that special something in terms of observable accomplishments. Each of you has amassed an impressive record of achievement in academics, community service, visual and performing arts, athletics, and the list could go on. I believe in the last 4 years, together with our faculty, staff, and alumni, we've made Georgetown McDonough an ever stronger institution and contributed to securing its viability for generations to come. And yet, these accomplishments are not the special something that has happened these last 4 years on this hilltop. That something lies in what Georgetown has done to us. While on the surface, these last 4 years, it's looked as if we have been doing what every other top-tier university was doing, engaging in a process of certification that would lead to the conferring of a degree. But there's a secret here at Georgetown. Lean in. I will tell you the secret. The secret is that that is not what we have been doing. We have not simply been engaged in a process of certification. We have been engaged in a process of formation whose tenets are deeply rooted in our Jesuit heritage and the values that animate it. Men and women for others, Curie personality, care for the whole person, finding God or the good in all things and experiences, and the magis, the more. And if we, your faculty and your staff and your administrators, have been successful in partnering with you in this process of formation, each of you will find yourselves asking a set of questions as you journey through life. How can I be a man or woman for others? How can I serve? How do I embrace the whole of those I encounter and see in them our common humanity, despite our differences? Even in the face of difficult situations, you will search for the good and the gifts being set before you, finding God in all things and experiences. And the magis should remind you that having more than others, whether in time, money, or talent, is not something to shun or be embarrassed by, but it obligates you to do more for the world. And by virtue of the privilege to sit in these seats before me, it is overdetermined that you will have more than 95% of the people on this planet. If I ask you to do anything, it is to begin now and not to wait, to answer the question, what will I do with the fact that I have more? And at Georgetown, the magis calls us to ask for more so that we can do more for the world. Class of 2016, I'm proud of you for your accomplishments, and I am indebted to you for going on this journey with me, a journey that took you from freshman year to this special moment. I leave you with a quote from a tweet that I often send out. And I know some of you, but not all of you, follow me on Twitter. I will continue to be on Twitter, so continue to follow me, at Prof. Thomas. But that quote is, "Be the difference. Be the difference." And when I tweet it out, it's because I'm inspired by seeing someone who's doing something that is transforming or changing the world to be better, even if in a small way, a small act of kindness that was a choice to make a difference, or in a large way. Or I tweet it out when I see moments that someone is missing the opportunity to make a difference in the world. So when you see that tweet, "Be the difference," I hope that some of you, if not all of you, will answer back, at Prof. Thomas, "I am being the difference." And so now, I bid you farewell, and I say thank you for this moment. And it is now my pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, and my privilege to present the president of Georgetown University, Dr. John J. DeGioia.
Well, thank you very much, Dean Thomas, for those beautiful and inspiring words, and for your leadership of Georgetown's McDonough School of Business. And I too would like to add a word of gratitude to follow yours to Dean Sharp for her exceptional leadership over the course of these 7 years that you've been a part of Georgetown. And we wish you the very best as you take on your new responsibilities at St. John's. Thank you very much. To our commencement speaker this afternoon, Bruce Broussard, I want to thank you for making this very special day that much more special by sharing your insights and your perspectives with us. To our graduates and our families, to each member of our community present this afternoon, I want to thank you all for being here for this very special occasion in the life of this community. It's a great privilege to be here with you today, to share in this moment, this celebration of our graduates of the class of 2016. A word of gratitude to your families for the trust they placed in us, for your education, for your formation as young women and men ready for the responsibilities of global citizenship in your chosen professional and academic endeavors. Thank you to the extraordinary faculty here today for their deep care and commitment to teaching and mentorship, to scholarship, and to the vibrancy of this university community. And to our staff, thank you for your many contributions every day that have made this day possible. And finally, to our graduates, to the women and men before me, congratulations. All of your hard work, the challenges you have encountered, your triumphs, your service, your achievements, everything that you have done at Georgetown has brought you to this moment, to this day. Not that long ago, in this very place, you joined our community. You came to us from around the world. You came to us with singular talents, individual perspectives, unique backgrounds. You came to us seeking to learn and to expand your horizons. And you came here to Georgetown, a place where people and ideas and values converge. Today we mark the journey, the experiences that you have shared, the knowledge you have gained, which have brought you to this moment. In your time as students, we have sought to provide a context for you, as Dean Thomas described, for your formation. By formation, we mean the work of supporting each of you as you seek to become your most authentic self, providing you with the conditions that will enable you to flourish, to realize your full promise. And it is our hope that during your time here, as you've engaged in this work of formation, you've come to better know yourself and what matters most to you, how you best connect to others and to our world, to know your most authentic, your deepest, truest selves, the deepest aspects of your identity, the person that you are and the person you are meant to be. Formation is a journey of discovery, a journey of understanding, a journey of seeking out that which each of us can uniquely contribute to our world, a journey of deepening our faith, of our understanding of the commitments that we have to one another. This idea of journey, another word, pilgrimage, has a deep resonance within our tradition. St. Ignatius described himself as a pilgrim. And Pope Francis, in announcing what he has called the extraordinary year, Jubilee year of mercy, taking place throughout this year, a year in which he asks each of us and all of us to identify works of mercy that can animate our lives. He reminds us that pilgrimage is a way of life, a way of being. He writes, "The practice of pilgrimage has a special place in the Holy Year because it represents the journey each of us makes in this life. Life itself is a pilgrimage, and the human being is a pilgrim traveling along the road, making her or his way to the desired destination." Well, during your time on campus, you've come to know, to use Pope Francis's words, the practice of pilgrimage, the conscious and purposeful commitment to a journey. We celebrate today a significant moment in your lives, a destination that you have been working towards, and now the beginning of many wonderful things to come. You joined our community with an eagerness to engage ideas and cultivate your intellect, to forge your conscience and deepen your character. Now, with this commencement, you embark on another very special time in your lives. This is your time. We are honored to share this moment with you. Congratulations on this very special day.
Thank you, President DeGioia. And thank all of you for joining us today, and congratulations to our graduates once more. We wish you well in your endeavors and welcome you as members of the Georgetown alumni family. Please stand for the alma mater, which will again be led by Commonwealth Brass and members of the Georgetown University Concert Choir and Chamber Singers. The alma mater is located in the back of the commencement program book. Remain standing while Imam Yahya Hindi, Director for Muslim Life, offers the benediction.
Everlasting by the martyr's last distinctive. Before I offer my prayer, I just want to say that do not be surprised. You are about to see a Muslim, yes, a Muslim, starting his prayer in Hebrew in a Catholic university. That's because at Georgetown we believe that, yes, we are all in this together. In Hebrew, Baruch Hashem Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. In Arabic, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. In English, blessed is the name of God, the Lord of the universe. Let us pray. Almighty God, we ask for your blessings upon these servants of yours. Empower them to be women and men in service of others. It is you, God, who taught us that by serving each other, we are serving and reaching out to you. Guide our graduates to use this knowledge to bring about a world in which we live with each other, with mutual respect and with justice for all. God, we trust you and that you will give our class of 2016 the wisdom to know their role in tearing down walls of separation and putting up bridges of hope and understanding. God, we trust you with their lives and careers. We ask that you may empower them with your wisdom, peace, love, and mercy. Continue to make them amongst whom who are in love with the humanity and not publicity, in love with justice and not money, and of those who act with reason and assume responsibility for their own actions. Let there be justice on earth, God, which will build peace if in practice everyone respects the rights of others and actually fulfills his duties towards others. Let there be love which will build peace if people feel the need of others as their own and share what they have with others, especially the values of mind and spirit. May our love of God open doors of unconditional hospitality for all God's creation. May our joint hands free more divine energy lost in the maze of wars. May our faith in God overcome uncertainty of the future. May our clarity about who we are lead the way of respect of others, certainty of their own path. May our mutual respect of each other shed light on days of immense darkness. May our open-mindedness bear witness to the great possibilities of the future for a compassionate world. Lead us, O God, with your holy presence to bring about politics of justice, economics of equity, and covenant of community. With one united voice, let us all say, Amen. Amen. Thank you.
Will the guests please remain standing at their places until the faculty and graduates have recessed? You are all invited to join us for a dessert reception in the Rafiq B. Hariri Building, the home of the McDonough School of Business. The ushers will direct you to the reception. The 2016 Bachelor of Science in Business Administration commencement exercises at the McDonough School of Business are now officially closed.